So what's nice about it, you give it a material and category. Let's go back into that family. There's another thing you can do is right here, the category has to know how to act. So it needs to act like concrete. So it's different than a material. It's kind of a way of, its properties to do, joining. So here we can say, and I haven't selected it. So if I select it, I see this material. Without it selected, I see the categories, which is here. And this is what we're looking at. They just now put it in the properties dialog box so you can see it, which is nice. So basically what you're doing is changing this to act like concrete, right? So, and then it will take on some of the hidden properties under slabs and things like that when you do that. Was there anything else there I could look at? Not really. Sometimes there's other things you want to do. We're not going to use the cap. You can look at the help menu. There's something about that as well. So finish and so on. So now we have something that looks right. So you could join this to this if you wanted to, because it thinks it's the same material and so on. All right, so the second way to do step footings is you use a combination of wall footings. We don't need this view anymore. And a new family that is called an adaptive component. Now, adaptive component will adapt itself to basically its environment. So we made a 4.1, right? Or I made this family that, I actually have an 8 point as well too, but the 4 point, what this does, um, they used to have it, it's under generic models right now, but they used to have it in the foundation category and they took that away with 2012. 2011 is in the, you can put it in the foundation category. I'm hoping they realize their mistake and give that back to us. But right now you'll have to leave it in the other, or you can put it in framing, but it really makes no sense there. So if you drag that out, you can now fill in and do what we did over here, right? So we have a nice little step. Well, wall footing, what it does is when you sketch the wall, it will, let me go backwards for a second. Oh, I think I fixed that thing with your file as well, Russell. I did an audit this morning, and I didn't see any wall sketch problems after the audit, so you may want to check it out and tell me if that's still a problem. So if you edit a profile of a wall, you can sketch these lines any way you want. So, what I did was I took a regular wall, go back over here, and I have a wall footing here as well, and I have another type of wall footing here. You have two types. You have bearing, and you have a retaining wall, and the only difference is retaining has an offset at both sides of the wall, and bearing is just at center line of the wall. So if I edit, say this wall, and I change its profile to step, see that dashed line lets you know you're perpendicular, and there's another one there, and then I know I'm perfectly square. So I'll put this little step here, trim it out, save my profile. So now part of the foundation jumped up in step, but it doesn't know how to fill in that little gap. So what we want to do is fill that piece in. So I have this family that places by 4 points. You can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can only really do this in 3D view. It really is the best way to do this. I'm not sure if you could another one. So you use this step foundation 4 points, pull it out, and then it wants you to pick 4 points. So if you have a problem, you can pick a plane like this face by using this and say pick and then so on. But if you don't have a problem, just try it first without. So let me turn thin lines on so I can see what's going on. And I'm going to tilt my view a little bit so I can see my points better. All right, so I want to pick this point here, make sure it's got it. If you get close to a point, like right here, and snap in point, SE, it'll jump to the closest point. For some reason, it thinks that one is. If you tab, you get to the next one. And I made this so you got to do it in clockwise direction or counterclockwise. So, and then you pick your fourth one. Yeah, see, it didn't give me a problem earlier. The only thing it doesn't like is if you're picking a point going in this direction versus a point going in this direction right here, it doesn't like it for some reason. So you need to make sure you're picking something that's on this plane. Um, so let me try it again. Snap endpoint. Snap endpoint. No, it's just finicky. I may have to pick the reference plane, but see how it's showing me the box right now? Like it's going to create it. As long as you see that, you're still good. Snap endpoint. It's the fourth one. It just, always has a problem. See how it wants to pick that face? You need a tab so it picks something on this face, right? And then the final one, you can see I can see the preview. If you see the preview on your final pick, you know it's good. And there it is. Now what this family has done is it has parameters that say, okay, let me go to AutoCAD real quick. It knows H and it knows to go 2 times H. We're working on a parameter that knows D. Right now, you have to actually, oh man, I didn't put my settings on here, did I? Ah, crud. Let me just use this dimension. I need to get used to the ribbon basically without using all my toolbars so I don't have to worry about this. All right. This is probably 1-to-1, so it really won't matter. What we have to do is because the wall footing is just cut off right where you step at. So we want to enter in this dimension right here, which, you'd have to scale it up like 12 times to be a real dimension. But so we need to add an additional run to it. So here, if I go back to my Revit and I look at this, the way, like I said, the way the wall steps, it just starts it right at the step. So, and you have to figure out what the distance is. So, bear with me a second. Where's my plan view? Elevation. I don't think I can do it here to figure out because let's just say you needed to add some extra length to it. So here you pick the foundation that I created and I have an additional run. You can type it, measure that dimension or something and then type it in to be another, like 6 inches or something. And you can add that on top of what is auto-calculated. So it's automatically calculated the first set of width using the H and the 2 times H for you. We may have that fixed by the time someone uses this, so it automatically does it for you. Now, the only thing left to do is to join this with the original one. So if I type join, J-N, and I join it, it cleans up the join. What's so great about this family is, let me go back to my 3D view, is over here on the one I did with just in place family, if I move a grip and change that, now I have a big gap sitting there, and I got to go back in and edit this family. But these are adaptive components, so they adapt to their environment. So if you go into this wall and you move on a grip, the wall footing automatically moves with it anyway. So now your step will move as well. So if you get good at placing these will be the best way to do it so you don't have any cleanup to go back with later on. So now if it changes drastically, like you take a whole step out, then it's of course not going to do it. But as long as your geometry is still there, you're good. So I think that's it. I have created a custom foundation family. How am I doing on time? I'm actually over my time. So next time we'll go over how to create families. So if you need your own foundation family or something so on, we'll be able to do it. So.